and welcome. Today I am pretty excited about what we're going to be doing to the Mustang. Traction control systems. So yes, we are going to be putting a standalone race traction control system onto the Mustang. This is a product from RaceTCS. So why do I want to install traction control on the Mustang when most people are disabling them? For one, the system that they're disabling is the stock system. The stock system is all about safety. It's keeping the car under control. It's not really performance oriented. If you look at any of the supercars or race cars that have traction control systems, those are an aftermarket system. I think Bosch makes an after control system that is really good. It's just really pricey. This system is affordable. All said and done, shipping to the United States, it was about 500 bucks. So this system is completely user adjustable. I'll have a dial in the car where I can adjust the wheel slip percentages that I want. So I can have it completely off, or I can have more wheel slip, less wheel slip. That's also going to be useful for if other people drive the car that aren't quite used to it or something like that. I can dial it up and it will intervene and keep them from having any wheel slip or spinning issues. It'll also be nice for rain. So I can dial it up and keep traction in the rain, along with having the ABS of not locking up in the rain. This car, if we ever have some rain days, should be very competitive, hopefully. So how does this system work? So it takes in the wheel speeds from your ABS system, which if you've been watching some of the earlier videos, know that I just installed an ABS system on the car. So this lends perfectly going into this. So I now have wheel speeds all around the car. So it takes in those wheel speeds and then it intervenes between the ECU and the engine, the fuel injectors. So the fuel injectors now go to this control box and then to the engine. So if it senses wheel slip coming from the wheel speeds, it will completely cut the fuel to the engine. What does this system actually come with? So we have the control box, which I will mount up underneath the dash. And then it comes with a USB connector, and then the plugs and a potentiometer for making it adjustable. So what kind of inputs do we need? So we got the up to 8 injectors that it can take. It has the potentiometer input. It has 8 injector outputs, wheel speeds for all 4 corners, clutch, and then diode out, and then just power and grounds. So you notice that I said clutch input. So along with doing traction control, this system can also do launch control and flat shifting. So I'm really excited about the launch control feature. That is a feature that I really want to try out. I think that will allow me to get off the line a lot quicker and hopefully pick up just a little bit of time there, tenths, whatever. Any time that I can pick up on the autocross course is time that I can get over my competitors. All right, so to have a nice clean install for this system, I'm using some Deutsch connectors. So we use Deutsch connectors at work and I love them. They are easy to assemble and disassemble and replace wires or complete connectors. I really love them. These ones I got off of eBay, so they are a much cheaper one than what we use at work. This is their DTM series, which is just a little bit smaller than their DT series, which is this one. So this is a 4-pin, it's kind of larger, where this is an 8-pin and is quite more compact. So the normal terminal for a Deutsch connector is a round barrel type, and you'll need a special crimper for those. These ones actually had the open barrel, so I can just use my normal crimpers that I have for doing these ones. So you do still have to have a special crimper for these that kind of curl it in around the wire. But these ones I already have, and I did not have the ones for the closed barrel type. I do want to get those someday, but they are just a little bit more pricey. But these will work out perfectly. It will still crimp and be tight. So I got several of these 8 pins, 4 pins, things like that. So this will allow me to make the system pretty much plug and play, and also allow me to completely remove it and return it back to kind of factory functioning if I need to. So as I said, I'll need to cut the wires going to the fuel injectors and then run them to the RaceTCS. So to do that, I'm just going to cut them and terminal them on each side and have this 8-pin connector, so I'll be able to plug them in and it will function normally, or then unplug them and plug them going to the RaceTCS and have it functioning or controlling the fuel injectors. Now, if you're still confused on how this system all goes into the car, because it is a completely universal standalone system, I have this wiring schematic that I made up and how I plan to install the system into my car. RaceTCS does have other example schematics, and this is one that I made up for my car in particular. Alright, so let me get working on the car. Let me find all my fuel injector wires, get all those cut, get these all terminated, and we'll check in with you guys in a few moments. Alright, before I get too much further into the installation of this, let's kind of go over where I'm at the moment with the wiring. So I'm going to mount it right where the airbag used to be in the dash. This is a pretty central location since I got the ABS right back there, got the engine controller unit right down there so I can tap into the fuel injectors. Speaking of fuel injectors, I got the 2 plugs on here, so those will plug into matching Deutsch 8 pins down coming off of the ECU for the fuel injectors. So that will allow me to plug back in the fuel injectors as they were, or plug them going to the traction control unit, so I can easily remove this and revert basically back to stock if I want to. I have ran a clutch wire from the clutch input over on that side over to this, and it will just ground out whenever you push in the clutch. I'll need that in order to do the launch control, and if I want to do flat shift. This will be my power wire. It's just an extra ignition wire that I had from when I removed everything, so that will be nice and easy. The only other things that I need to really wire up is the wheel speeds. So I'll have those come off straight off the ABS unit back there, come into this unit. So I'm just going to be tapping into the wheel speeds, not actually redirecting them to here. They'll be basically spliced off and come into here. I also have this potentiometer switch. So that is what will allow me to have different modes. So I'll have 6 different presets on here, and then also an off if I wanted to turn it completely off. So this is something that comes with the kit, so I just soldered on some wires. So we'll go right into there and look pretty sweet, I think. So let me finish getting everything wired in, get this all prettified, and very soon we will get this thing powered up, programmed, and hopefully doing some launch control and no spinning. Alright, so I do know that aftermarket ECU would basically do all this for me, something like a Haltech or a Holley or something like that. But I don't really need a whole aftermarket ECU, and aftermarket ECUs are quite expensive. So this is a nice, cheaper alternative, hopefully. So we'll test it out, make sure that everything kind of works, but I think it should be a nice, cheaper alternative. Like I said, it's like $500 after all the shipping, where like an aftermarket ECU is in the probably $1,500 to $2,000 range, and then you got to factor in all the other install things and stuff like that to actually get it to work. I would like to do an aftermarket ECU one day, but right now it's not really needed. The car isn't that crazy. I don't have really a power outer on there or anything like that, so the factory ECU is more than capable of handling the head cam intake install that I have on the car right now. Alright, I got the unit all installed. I put it in where the airbag used to be, so it makes it a nice convenient location. You can put this back up over top of it, cover it up, pop it off to easily access it if I need to. So it's firmly mounted with the clamp in there. It's not going anywhere. The wiring is all done. I put shielding on the ABS wires. I also put some shielding on the injector wires just because I was seeing some noise showing up on the injectors and on the speed and on the clutch. So hopefully that kind of helps. Might be something that just kind of have to deal with. I have to see if I can try to get it all figured out or if it's all now gone. But got the dial in here. It's got indentation, so it's easy to select. Got 6 different slip modes that I can do, and then can turn it completely off. I have a LED for telling me if it's on or off. We turn on power, flashes when it's on. Turn it to a different mode, it flashes showing that it's recognized. If it's off, it's always lit up. I don't know if it will light up when it's actually doing any traction control stuff, if it's seeing any slip. Not really sure about that, but that doesn't really matter for me. Then for the software, so it's pretty basic, but it's got everything that you kind of need. So on the left-hand side, you got all your global settings. So for like RPM, type of clutch, ABS reference, kind of things like that. Then up here, you got your tire sizes. So you want to make sure that the tires are put in correctly. So it calculates the right diameter and all that kind of stuff. It also has how many teeth are on the ABS toner rings. Then it has all these different presets, which is nice. So you want to make sure that tire size and everything is copied over to all the presets. And then on the right side is where you set up all your RPMs and your slip percentages and a few other settings like that. Down here we got launch control turned on. So this is I'll still need to play with to try to figure out the best RPM, but for now we will leave it set kind of where it is. One of the nice things with this software, it's got this logging feature. With the login feature, you can go in and see what channels are working, what they're not working, what they're showing. So be able to go log some data and do some launches and see if everything is looking good, if I'm getting the right slip, getting the right RPMs, everything like that. So that's going to be a really nice feature to play around with to get everything dialed in to where I want it. For right now, I'm using the presets in here for like the minimum slip and maximum slip from, they had a setup for a Mustang, a newer 5.0 Mustang, so I'm just using the presets for that. So I went and put in my tire sizes and then I changed the RPMs slightly, but all the slip percentages, I'm just leaving them as the default Mustang 5.0 that they had in here. That's another nice thing, that it comes with several different presets. So they have ones for like BMW, Corvette, Ford Mustang, Mazda, Opel. This is made out in Poland, so they have Opels and other things like that. But that's a kind of a nice feature that you don't have to totally start from scratch. You can kind of use some of the defaults used for other cars. So with that, I think it is time to test out the system, do a few launches in the driveway, see if everything is kind of working, and then we got a test and tune coming up where we will more formally test this all out, see if the slip is working, see if I need to increase, decrease any of the percentages, or just completely turn it off and it's a failed experiment. But hopefully it all works. Hopefully it's not intervening too much and cutting my power. I'm really excited about trying the launch control. As I said, I think that will really help with our launches to get them more dialed in and consistent. Let's get some tests in the driveway. All right, trying out this launch control in the driveway. So clutch in, rev it off. Say like 3,000, it looks like is what it's going to. So we'll give it a try. So my GoPro died for those last couple of runs, but those were some of the best launches I think that it had been doing. So I turned the dial up to 6, which gives me the most slip before it starts to actually intervene, which that shouldn't really affect the launches too much, but once I started getting going is where it will start coming in. But I had launch RPM set to 34, so it was sitting right just below 34 is kind of where it was bouncing at, like between 3350 and 3380. And then once I launch, the RPM drops down to about 26 to 27 RPM and kind of holds that as we're accelerating. The rear wheels are spinning, but the car is moving forward pretty aggressively. I think these settings are pretty good for right now. We do have a test and tune coming up where we will be able to test this actually at the site that we test at, which is also concrete, just like my driveway. So it should be pretty similar, but it'd be good to just figure out how the car actually behaves on that surface and in an autocross setting where a lot of times you're going straight but also turning a little bit. So it'd be good to see how it actually goes, and I can tweak these RPMs and other settings as we go. But I think for the most part, I'll keep the dial turned up to the most slip allowed. So yeah, the dial goes from 1 to 6 and then off. 1 being the most aggressive in that it allows the least amount of slip. So as you turn it up, and this is just how it comes default, you can change these values, obviously, since this whole thing is user programmable. But I'll probably leave it kind of how the settings are right now and figure it out. But 1 is the least amount of slip allowed, so it will come in a lot more. And as you move up to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it will allow more slip. So you'll get more tire spin before it intervenes and tries to keep things under control. So I think for my driving, I'll keep it turned up to probably 6. If I still feel that it's intervening way too much, then I'll just turn it off, but I can leave on launch control even with traction control off. So that's a really nice feature. But I think it will be okay, because I mean, I really don't want the tires to spin. I want everything to be moving forward. So if I get in a point where the tires are spinning, it'd be nice that if it's just a quick momentary thing, that it gets everything back under control and we can keep on moving. If it gets to the point where I'm feeling it coming in and limiting the engine too much or limiting my speed or how I'm going through the course, then I'll go through and either adjust the values higher to allow more slip or turn it off completely. But right now I'm really happy with that launch control. That was a lot of fun to kind of play with, and it needs a lot more tweaking. So these are probably not going to be my final values, but I think it is going to help a lot with mine and Ashley's launches. It will just get everything more consistent. Right now I don't have any way to do any data logs on the car, so I really don't know what I'm launching at versus what she's launching at, because kind of look at the RPM, but once we go looking at the course, not looking at what the RPMs are doing, just kind of going on the feel of the car, and just kind of riding the clutch some, or riding the gas some, trying to just get that optimum bite. But this will really help to get that optimum bite every time. And that's the key, is consistency. I'm really happy with it so far. The install was pretty easy. Really got to make sure that shield the ABS cables and proper grounding and everything. That's all in the manual, so make sure you read the manual. Alright, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. We'll have more coming up on this system, this car. As I mentioned earlier, we got a test and tune coming up where we will be testing this system a lot more thoroughly on the car. And then after that, we got an autocross. And throughout the year, we're going to have autocrosses that will be testing this system out, probably doing some tweaks here and there to try to get everything kind of dialed in, get the car consistent, get the car faster, hopefully. So if you liked it, subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching.